2023, 5 of the 6 Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike races have had different winners. Turcotte Performance Suzuki rider Sebastien Tremblay earned the pole here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He crashed out in race 1 and did not take the start for race 2 due to a mechanical. Can Tremblay's luck turn around and make it 6 different winners on the season? Everyone, and welcome to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for race 7 of the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championship. Sebastien Tremblay once again starting on pole, but Colin, he's going to have some major competition lined up behind him. Let's take a look at the starting grid.
When we get to row 3, pole position is Francis Martin, who starred in yesterday's race, but unfortunately he broke a spark plug that damaged the Suzuki engine. Then we look further back here, and you can see some of our front runners. Connor Campbell much further back on the grid than you'd expect. Also worth mentioning, there you can see Brad McRae, and he was a winner earlier this season, but he had a fall and also had an engine issue, so he is out of motorcycles, and we'll see him again at Shannonville. There's the Pro Twins group. Only Thomas Kazaz will grid. Williams and Van Winkle both out with injury.
So Colin, let's have a look at the racetrack map. You know it very well.
First half of the lap is by far the most memorable, but on this class with the bike so evenly matched, that trip up the hill in the backstretch is crucial. The last 3 turns a funnel to the start finish, and it'll always be dramatic in this division. It certainly was yesterday.
Well, let's check in with our Bridgestone pit reporter, Sarah Said. She has more information on that Ducati win from yesterday.
Thanks, guys. Number 33, Elliot Vieira claimed his first win of the season last race, but more importantly, it was the first ever win for Ducati in the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championship. Due to changes in 2023, the rules were opened up for a wider range of bikes. The Panigale V2 is the new benchmark for the Gen 2 rules. Along with Vieira, Nathan Playford and Louis Rafa will be lining up on Ducatis. Back to you.
Our grid is set for this 14-lap national championship race. We now look to the Apex Cycle starting lights. Those lights have gone off. The field is launching. They're coming right towards us. It is David McKay again who has taken the whole shot. He did that yesterday, Colin.
Swooping around on the outside up to second from pole position is Seb Tremblay. He crashed on Friday, didn't make the start with mechanical issues on Saturday. Now he's hunting for the win on Sunday.
And Vieira running in 3rd spot now, trying to back up his win from yesterday. There is Sebastien Tremblay on the move, heading up into turn number 3. He's got the inside line, and he has snatched the lead away from David McKay. McKay staying right up with him.
That onboard view coming down 2 showed that Tremblay was determined to make the move. No hesitation. At the bottom of 2, he was going to pass on the way to 3 no matter what. He made it work. Vieira, who won yesterday in a runaway, is in 3rd. Very interesting what will happen between these 3 very different motorcycles taking the lead.
Through Moss's corner they go. Corner 5 by number onto the Mario Andretti straightaway. Now it's horsepower time.
Second position, David McKay, and once again, we saw this yesterday. Vieira going by, but not as convincingly as yesterday. Don't know if that's because of what's going on with Tremblay. We can't see him, but he's right in the mix here somewhere.
Oh, McKay stayed right with him all the way up the back straightaway. He took the lead going into 8. It seems like Vieira wants it back again. Vieira did cross wheels on him, and look how close they are now coming to turn 9. That move by Vieira just about taking the front wheel away from David McKay.
Vieira very brave on the outside of 8. McKay made him work hard for it, and both these guys know Seb Tremblay can pull away. He has done it here before when there's been a terrific battle for second. Both Vieira and McKay have been parts of those races that have been trying to catch Tremblay. So these guys need to get organized, and they need to get going. Of course, Vieira ran away yesterday, set the pace the whole way. Very little range in lap times between these front runners, and really Tremblay is the guy we most expect to make something happen.
Imagine the frustration, if you will, for Lang, Playford, Sousa, and especially Simpson running in 7th spot now as they are watching the top 3 riders getting small in terms of vision.
And of course, we have to touch on that story that has been predominant for quite some time now. McKay in 3rd is our points leader. In our race yesterday, Simpson closed the gap, but not by much. Simpson needs to be much further up. He needs to be in front of McKay, and he needs a couple of riders in the middle. Now we go on board with our leader, and this is sort of a battle we've been waiting to see. Vieira versus Tremblay. We saw a little bit of it at Grand Bend. There you can see that Vieira's hanging in the draft, but when he starts downshifting for turn 8, he has not made a move on Tremblay.
Vieira's sitting back there thinking, is this guy going to ever start using the brakes? There he is, the shaker in through turn 9 now. And McKay, I think McKay's playing a championship race here, Colin. And he was really hot and heavy for that first lap and realizing full well, in order to win a championship, you first must bring that motorcycle home upright.
Well, you can bet that when McKay looks at his pit board, there's a lot of good information there, but the key information that isn't on anyone else's board is the status of Matt Simpson, because those two are locked in a war to try and win this championship. Remember, last year's champion, Trevor Dion, has moved up to Superbike. There is no defending number 1. Somebody is going to win this title. It isn't going to be Tremblay. He's won it before, but he has not done well enough this year. He missed the first round. He wasn't even planning to race this year. So at least there's going to be a little bit of new excitement for some new people. I think Vieira was a favorite. Certainly McKay was the favorite. And right now, the favorite going into the season is the points leader.
No question about it. Meanwhile, we will keep a very close eye on Matt Simpson, hoping that perhaps he can claw his way up that leaderboard. Right now, he's running in 7th, as I mentioned, in behind Marco Sousa and just ahead of Connor Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell had a tough race yesterday after showing so well in the rain on Friday, and we'll be right back with more Sport Bike here on TSN.
Portions of the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championship are brought to you by Joe Rocket, Economy Lube and Tire, and Saron Canada. Closed captioning of the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championship is brought to you by Goderich Toyota, EBC Brakes and Clutches, Apex Cycle, and MotorcycleCourse.com. We're back at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park watching the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championship, working lap 5 of 14. And there the race leader, Sebastien Tremblay, leading Elliot Vieira through turn 1, up over the hill and down into 2. Colin?
So Vieira knows that this is a pressure situation. Tremblay is a very strong rider. We're in the technical first half of the track. The goal, of course, for Vieira on that 955 new gen, second gen rules Ducati, as Sarah explained, is to put the pressure on that old tech motorcycle, the GSX-R600, and try and be in the draft when they go up the back straight. At our next race at Shannonville, likely Tremblay will be on a GSX-R750 as the rules continue to be updated, heading into that new Gen 2 era with the sport bike, the middleweight rules. But here we go. Let's see what Vieira's got in the slipstream on Tremblay. He should have an edge.
Well, Vieira is in a similar position to what he was yesterday in that he holds a large lead over the rider behind him. But this time we have Sebastien Tremblay in the mix, of course, and that is the rider we're on board with right now. We're looking back at Elliot Vieira, and he hasn't got the ponies to do it.
Elliot Vieira is a physically small person. He's light, and he fits well in that very narrow Ducati. You could see him tucked in very well in the perfect slipstreaming. He never deviated from Tremblay's path. That should lead to a pass at the end of the straight, and it certainly did not. And tellingly, he didn't move over. He didn't think there was a pass. Now, he may be shopping, right? He may be planning it out. He might be dragging the rear brake. There's about a million things he might be up to. And there we see Playford in 4th. There's another Ducati, and really impressive. Playford is going from strength to strength right now, and this pace is impressive here for that rookie pro.
No kidding. In behind him is John Lang, again, the Western rider in from Cochrane, Alberta, and we'll keep an eye on him. We know how aggressive he can be when he gets the bit between his teeth. Simpson now finally has solved the Sousa problem and moved up into 6th spot. That's an important move as well. Perhaps he can get a tow with Lang next time around.
Well, you think a year ago Simpson was attracting a lot of attention in this race, and he ended up winning a year ago. This year, he isn't even the story of the newcomers because a bunch of other newcomers like Playford and Lang have played their cards, and now Simpson has to battle them. And this is just remarkable in sport bike, how close it is, how many young talented riders are showing the way here in Canada, and it is remarkable that we have so many riders who keep stepping up and showing their pace against some very, very fast established stars, and certainly Sebastien Tremblay is one of the fastest, most established stars in CSBK.
Yeah, no question about that. He swept the season in 2021. And as I mentioned, you know, he may go on the racetrack not intending to teach, but when our young guys can get in behind a rider of such capabilities, they're definitely going to learn from him.
And the question is, while we're watching Playford hold fourth, what is going on at the front, and is Vieira able to learn something from Tremblay he can use against him? But this race for fourth is a very entertaining one and has a lot of very fast riders in it. Of course, sad we do not have Francis Martin, who showed so very well on that new Suzuki yesterday before he encountered engine problems.
Yeah. Playford again leads Lang and Simpson. Simpson cannot seem to eat away at that lead, the distance between himself and Lang, but I got a sneaking suspicion that Cochrane, Alberta rider is going to be getting tough in a few laps here.
Well, the thing about Simpson is he is tenacious. He tries a lot of different lines, and it seems like just when other riders might settle in, Simpson starts reaching into his index and pulls out some pretty aggressive cards, and we have seen fast Westerners like Edie and McCormick do this before. It's great to see it again, and we'll see more of it right here on TSN.
Canadian Tire Motorsport Park is the venue we're at. Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Racing is the event that we're watching right now, and we are working lap 8 of 14. Colin?
When we look at the Ducati of Elliott Vieira in second, yesterday he ran away, the only rider in the 125-second lap range. Today we have 6 of them in the 125 range, wow. And Tremblay pushing the pace. And the most important thing and the most impressive thing is the consistency of Tremblay's times. Basically no mistakes. He doesn't vary his line, he doesn't take any risks, but he doesn't make any errors. And when you're behind your Vieira, you're watching that should set you up for a pass, because he's always in the same place doing the same thing, unless he's doing it perfectly.
And he is doing just that, and that there again an illustration of why he is such a good professor on the racetrack for young riders to get in behind and go to school on.
In the distance from this view of leader Tremblay Suzuki, we can see David McKay heading up the backstretch in the tail end of the draft. Important to notice, Kawasaki mounted McKay is probably focused on the status of Simpson. Right now, McKay, our points leader, 3rd, Simpson 6th. No threat. They have pulled clear. So this is what McKay wants, and McKay is the cagiest of men. He was very careful with the points last year and almost won the championship. Yes. Once again, he is hatching that championship egg, and he wants that title. He's won 2 races so far at his home track at Grand Bend, but the key here is not to mix it up with Tremblay and Vieira. That is too risky. What he needs is points, and he needs Simpson to be pushed back by Playford, Lang, maybe Souza. Anyway, that is what's going on in McKay's mind, and we can say right now it is playing out just exactly the way he imagined.
Well, for the first 2 laps, Colin, you'll remember McKay going at it for the lead, very, very close racing with Tremblay and Vieira, and then settled into what is now what we refer to as a championship ride. He is doing just that, counting points.
Well, yesterday at this point, it was a crazy pack battling for second. Vieira just clear at the front, and that was super entertaining. But now with the pace so much faster, and there's a combination of factors, including track conditions, but I think also this is the Tremblay effect, right? He got out front, he got going, he pushed the pace, he's riding perfectly, as I said before. I hate to keep using that word, and that has forced everyone to play their hand right away, all out.
Here comes Vieira. I got a sneaking suspicion he's got something happening here, right in the wheel track, so he is. See if he breaks out at the top of the hill. Nope, not going to happen again. He's going to sit and watch.
There's the winner's eye view of the leader. Yesterday's winner chasing potentially first-time winner this season, Tremblay, the former king of the sport bike class, trying to take his first win since he left Kawasaki and joined Suzuki.
Hard to believe that we're this far into the season and Sebastien Tremblay has not scored a win, but who knows what the future might hold. The battle is for first spot, and it is Sebastien Tremblay on the Turcotte Performance Suzuki, and the GP Bikes Ducati sponsored Elliott Vieira. Elliott may be playing a smart race here. Maybe he's looking to double up on the weekend, Colin.
Well, right now, Elliott is playing a smart race as he misses the line at the top of 2 there, so I don't think that went according to plan. And Elliott tends to make maybe some small errors, and that's not the end of the world. He's very good at picking up the time and not blowing the corner, but the problem is he's with Tremblay, who wasn't making any mistakes at all. And what I want to see in this part of the track is Elliott right against the tail of Tremblay's bike, and he can't seem to do it. So he gets into the draft, he seems to slipstream perfectly, but he can't make a pass at the crest of the hill. So see what happens here, but again, he's just a little further back than ideally you'd like to be. Of course, you can see he is doing well in the slipstream. He is towing into the back of the Suzuki's dead air, but it's not quite enough.
Perfect illustration of how that works, though, Colin. You compare the distance between those motorcycles right now and where they were at Moss's corner, proving that suction that you get from the bike in front of you, that soft air that I quite often refer to, helps you draw it along. And of course, Sebastien will see his tack drop. But at that point, we'll be right back, folks, on TSN. Portions of the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championship are brought to you by Joe Rocket, Economy Lube and Tire, and Saron Canada. Back at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championship Final, Matt Simpson has finally moved up into 5th spot now, and he is just 2 points or 2 positions behind his arch rival David McKay. So that is very, very important in terms of his championship chase. But take note also that Simpson has yet to win a race this year. Our Bridgestone pit reporter Sarah Said has more on that.
Thanks, guys. Blackstock Motorsport Yamaha rider Matthew Simpson currently sits 11 points behind David McKay in the championship. Simpson has been very consistent all season long with 2 second-place finishes and 2 third-place finishes. I spoke to Simpson, and he says that yes, consistency gets you close, but it's not good enough. He wants to win the championship and push harder in the race today.
We're here at a track that I know very well, and I've run well at in the past, and going back to Shannonville, you know, another track I know really well and can do some really good times at. So I think I have a pretty good chance. You know, I know David will be strong at both of them, and Sebastien will be as well. I really love this track, and I think I want to go for the win here. And you know, my home track, I want to do good for my local fans out here and hope for the best.
Hoping for the best, though, is not going to get you a championship, and the problem is Simpson didn't have pace early. His pace is really strong right now, but it's not going to move you up when there's so little to choose between the best laps of the top 6. A couple of tenths is not going to make a big difference lap in, lap out, particularly when essentially Tremblay has pushed the pace from the start the entire race. And if you think it's tough for Simpson, it's not easy for Vieira in second, because he hasn't figured out even how to pull even yet with Tremblay.
Yeah, quite so. He was very close in turn 1 there, but he took that wide line, which he's doing again. It seems that every time I see him taking that wide line, I see Sebastien gain a couple more feet on the track.
Well, the question you always ask yourself at this point in a race, particularly here when the temperatures are fairly high, is are the guys breathing the tires to try and give themselves a little bit of an edge right at the end? But we're just about at the end, and right now, and here we head up the back straight again, where everyone expects Tremblay to lose the lead to Vieira, and so far Vieira has, again, I don't know how else to put it, hasn't pulled even yet. And look at this, he's closer than he has been. Can this be the lap?
Maybe so. He's right on the back wheel now, up over the hill, and he would have had to make his move much earlier than that. And again, in through turn number 8, he's right on the line, exactly running on dimes the way Sebastien Tremblay is. That may be the solution, you know, convert your wide lines back into a racing line like Tremblay's using, and maybe make up that distance that you've fallen back on.
And you watch Tremblay, he is not blocking at all. He's taking the very wide entrances. There is some track to work with for Vieira, but the problem is you have to be going faster leaned over than Tremblay, and that may be just about impossible. Tremblay may be at the limit of adhesion and the physical abilities of these middleweight sport bike chassis.
And a quick glance at our running order will show McKay still holding on to 3rd spot, a rather lonely ride for our potential champion. Playford in the mix there in 4th spot, and he is splitting the 2 championship contenders, Simpson and McKay.
And when we look at what's going on, particularly at the front with the pace of these 2, it's important to consider that this is by far the warmest day. The track's been holding some heat from yesterday. It's finally been sunny, and not the case for most of 2023. And the Bridgestones aren't dropping off, so we haven't had a lot of good, warm, dry running. And this suggests that saving your tire probably isn't going to be a good strategy in these conditions.
Colin, Sebastien is gone. He is gone now. Elliot Vieira, there's no way in the world he's ever going to be able to make up that distance on Sebastien Tremblay. Make a liar out of me if you will. I would love that to be the case, but when they came out of Moss's, Sebastien Tremblay had the largest gap between him and Vieira that has existed all race.
Vieira caught up a little bit in the slipstream, but you may be right, Frank. We don't have a lot of time left, and Vieira has been making small mistakes, and I wonder, is this trying to find that edge, trying to make something different, to do the math differently to get ahead of Tremblay? And of course, as you go and you can't make these moves work, you get more and more ambitious or hopeful that something can play out, and that may lead to small mistakes.
Less than a lap to go now as they come over the hill and make their way down into turn number 2. One of the most daunting corners in motorsport is what Jimmy Stewart had to say about that. Make that Jackie Stewart. And through turn 3 now, make their way to 4. No, Sebastien has got a handle on this one. Colin, barring on some unforeseen incident or something, he should be able to bring this thing home.
Well, the problem is Vieira needs to be glued to Sebastian's tail, right where we are right now, and he isn't, and that's further back probably than he's been all race except for last lap. So yeah, I got to agree with you, Frank. All things being equal, I think Tremblay, as much as we aren't at the line yet, and this is the announcer's curse,
yes,
looks good to me. Vieira will catch up some in the slipstream, and he's doing that right now.
Well, it's been a while since Sebastien Tremblay won a race. Perhaps if he pulls this one off, there will be celebrations for all the way from here to Quebec. On board now with Elliot Vieira chasing through turn number 9. This is the final go-round. And through the right-hander we know is turn number 10. He'll set that thing up on his back wheel and take it down towards the finish line. But Sebastien Tremblay has taken victory. And how fitting, Colin, after a crash and a mechanical put him out of the first 2 contests of this weekend. He was able to come back and truly, truly dominate.
And that means there have been 4 different manufacturers taking the top of the podium this year in Sport Bike. That is a record. It has happened in Superbike, but years and years ago.
I don't think I've ever seen Sebastien Tremblay so exuberant. He's a very happy man.
Well, when you crash on Friday and have a mechanical Saturday, that'll definitely put the focus on you. 3rd place for McKay, 5th place for Simpson is very important in the championship chase. There you can see the rest of our top 10 after a very busy day here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and we head on to Shannonville, but let's talk to Sarah in the pits with our winner.
All right, congratulations on the win. Sebastien, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, pretty tired though. After my eyesight on Friday, I injured my hip a little bit, so it was kind of difficult yesterday. I knew Elliot would be fast here, and he's got the top seat advantage on me, so I tried to put a relentless pace, and it worked out pretty good.
How does it feel to succeed after yesterday's challenges as well?
Oh, yesterday, yeah, we had a problem, yes, indeed. I wasn't able to make the start. I really tried to do what I did today. I would have wanted to do that yesterday, but it's nice to finish a weekend like this because I had a pretty bad weekend so far.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Fraser, let's have a look at the point standings.
16 points with 2 races at Shannonville. It's going to be exciting between McKay and Simpson. Lang is hoping to play a spoiler, but we've got a bunch of other people looking to win, and Tremblay should make the debut of the GSX-R.
And Sebastien Tremblay becomes the 6th different winner in 7 races in the 2023 season. On behalf of Colin Fraser and myself and the entire crew at CSBK, thank you very much for being with us. We'll see you next time.